I have in front of me the three primary rigs I was using. We did casting. I don't have all my lures. We did casting primarily with metal spoons, crocodiles, Castmasters, Hopkins. Um, Pretty much everything that was caught with that was caught on the crocodiles, 2 ounce, 2.5 ounce crocodiles. Just a big shiny piece of metal, and bluefish love it. Did not have any luck on plugs. That'll be another video. Since I didn't catch anything on the plugs, I'm not going to waste time showing the plugs. But I do want to show you the rigs we were using. We also did some fluke fishing. I love to fish for fluke first thing in the morning, get out at a low tide, find the holes. Problem was there really weren't any holes where we were on the beach. The area of the beach we were in just didn't have holes. Normally what I look for is a bar that's close in, the first bar being close in with a pocket behind it where it comes up onto a shoal and then a rip. And if you cast to the end of that bar, work the whole bar, the whole pocket, but most of the fish are going to be toward the end of the bar, down in the hole, depending on the tide. As the tide's coming in, that's the place to fish that. As the tide's going out, you're better off fishing actually in the rip, because fluke, as they call them in New Jersey and New York, flounder, we call them everywhere else in the world, basically, are predatory fish that sit on the bottom. The flatfish sit on the bottom, and they face into the current because they're waiting for stuff to swim by or get washed by. And in the surf, you have waves crashing, small bait fish, crabs, mollusks, they get all tossed about in that surf, and the fluke are there to chomp down and get themselves a meal. So let me show you the rig I have for that. My standard fluke rig for fishing in the surf involves 20-pound monofluoro carbon leader, little, where's the camera? There it is. Little bitty barrel swivel, that's probably a 50-pound dropper loop to a teaser. Okay, come on. Trying to get used to this. Okay, where's the damn camera? There we are. Okay, so a teaser. This is actually a saltwater fly. It's got about a 1/0 hook on it, maybe not even, maybe just a number 1 or even a number 2. It's hard to tell because they don't tell you when you buy it, but it is made for saltwater. It's got the nice little flash in it. I don't know if you can, how well you can see that. 2 colors, got the eyes, so got a little bit of a weight to it. And what I will do is I'll take that, excuse me, take that and put a, maybe not even a whole 3-inch gulp swimming mullet or grub tail, usually the swimming mullet, on here. And that catches most of the fluke I catch in the surf. Now, it's very common for this rig to use a weight on the bottom, just a weight, just like a 1 ounce, 1.5 ounce, depending upon the current and so forth. I say, well, why not just go ahead and put a bucktail, use a bucktail as my weight. So that's what I do. Geez, trying to figure out where my camera is. Okay. Bucktail, that's like a 2/0 hook, maybe, on that one. It's it's a little big, but this is the one I was using for fishing close in. I was using this is probably a 1/4 or 3/8 ounce jig head. I was using a little bit heavier one, more like a 1/2 ounce. Let me see, I got that one right here. I was using this one as well. Come on, where's the camera? There it is. Okay. You can see the difference in the size. I do like the Popeyes. That's what these are called, because they don't hang up as much. If you're fishing structure like rocks, jetties, piers, bridges, pilings, things like that, these won't hang up quite as much as some of the other ones. I also used this one when I was fishing off the jetty because I was casting out into heavier water more current. And this is probably a 1 ounce, might even be a 1 1/4 or 1 1/2. But as you see the difference in the nose between the two, this one will hang up a lot more. So I don't use it as much. It's more for vertical fishing. Um, and the eye on top, this eye is on top of the head, just like that other one, but it also is very forward, so it pulls good this way. And then I'll put a 4 or 5 or even 6 ounce swimming mullet, grub tail, something like that, bulk, gulp on this. And this catches the bigger fish. The bigger fluke I catch in the surf, I catch on this, generally speaking. While 9 out of 10 fish I'll catch on, 9 out of 10 fluke will hit the teaser. That 1 out of 10 that's the 18, 20 or more will hit this. I also put strip baits on this. So fresh cut. You got fluke belly, that's the best. Flounder belly, the white part, cut a strip about 5 inches long. Just hook it once with the gulp. And that also will catch striped bass. Bluefish will also hit it if you fish it faster, but this tends to get dragged along the bottom with bounces and constant twitching of this. So it's moving along like this, like this, like this, and this is coming up and down, and this is just doing this. And that's my standard surf fluke rig. We were also fishing, I also fished with small pieces of cut bait. I gathered up some sand fleas, and they were getting eaten, but I didn't catch anything on them. And this is the rig I use for that. This is a double dropper, again on the top, the barrel swivel, and that hooks to the clip on the end of my main line. And then dropper loops. I put a bead. I think it helped. It's an attractant to a certain extent. That hook's a little dirty from being used. I did soak these. A second one, what is that, about 14, 15 inches lower. I got about 12 inches there, and then another 12 to 14 inches on the bottom. Clip for a weight, swivel. I like the swivel better than the loop because this is going to sit in the surf, and it's going to sit like this. Okay. My rod is over there, right? Over. Where's the damn thing? There. Right. Rod is over there. Line is here. Weight is here. The bottom one is closer to the bottom, obviously. Top one is a little bit higher in the water column. And sand fleas, fish bites, small pieces of cut bait, pieces of shrimp, mullet, bunker I was using. Bluefish is great bait. You catch the first bluefish and you sacrifice it for bait, and you will usually catch more bluefish. And I did catch bluefish on this. I think that's all I caught on this rig. Again, the sand fleas weren't doing anything except getting taken off. And the reason I like the swivel on the bottom instead of, a lot of people just use a loop. I like the swivel better because as this turns in the surf is moving this around. The swivel allows it to move. Got a swivel on each end, so it allows it to move. It also allows it to move. The fish picks it up, gives it a little bit of movement, so a little bit more freedom for the fish to move with the bait before feeling that sting of the hook. You can use the loop on the bottom and just put the loop through the weight. I'm going to show you that on the next rig, but I like this. And I use that with whatever weight I need to hold the bottom. We were fishing with 3-4 ounce weights. I was fishing 3-4 ounce weights on that. The other rig I was using was on my 12-foot rod. That other one was on generally a 9-foot rod. The fluke rig, I have a 7-foot rod for that because I'm not casting. I did put it on the 9-footer. I also have an 11-foot that I use that on, that double dropper rig on. The other one, and this is for the heavy stuff. This is for the big fish. Okay, that's 8/0 circle hook, snelled. I I don't know if that's 50-pound mono or 80-pound fluoro. I can't really tell just by looking at it. To a barrel swivel. And this clips on the end of the main line to a snap swivel. So that allows for a lot of motion. This can twist and turn without twisting the line. That's the idea. A bead here, and then a weight slide. This is actually a braid weight slide, but they seem to hold up better than the other ones I had. And then that has a clip on it. There's no swivel on this because you don't really need it. It has a little bit of movement to it. The swivel is here, and that allows the bait to move freely. And this holds the bottom. And then you have a fish comes along. He's able to eat the bait, suck up that bait, and start to move away. And you set the drag on your reel. I actually have a live liner reel, which has the dual drag. So it's got a strike drag, not a strike drag. It's got a set drag, and then it's got the full drag. So it's a rear drag and front drag reel. Might as well show it to you. If I can pick this up without throwing that weight and hook around. This is an older reel that I actually love. Pinnacle Coastal 70, or otherwise 7,000 sized reel. It used to be called 70s, then they went to 700s, now they're saying 7,000. Same thing. So if you're wondering about that, an older reel that says 70 on it right here, if you can read that, that means it's equivocable to a 7,000 reel today. Anyway, I don't know if that's proper language. I like this reel. There's the rear drag. That's the dial that sets it. Flick that up. It locks that. That's the drag engaged. That's the drag locked. When it's buttons up like that, we're using the front drag, which is what you have on most reels. And I also have a breakaway trigger. Actually, it's not a breakaway brand. It's another brand, but it's the same thing. Casting trigger that allows me to not mess up my finger, even though I'm casting leader. On this one, I have, what is this? This is 50-pound mono leader on this. And I have leader that wraps around the spool a few times, and then it's long enough. And that's so that when you get a big fish in the surf, you've got abrasion resistance and strength to get that fish up onto the beach. So that's why I'm using that. And that's my favorite reel. And I just bought this rod. It is going the wrong way, of course. I don't want to flip it around. It's an offshore angler breakwater. And there's a YouTuber down in Texas who reviewed this, and he said he loved it. And you cannot beat the price. This is a $100 rod. You could easily pay $300-400 for a 12-foot rod, graphite rod, Fuji guides, Fuji reel seat, the cross wrapping, shrink wrapped here, nice. It's not rubber. This is hard plastic, but don't care about that. And very lightweight, very lightweight. The reel is heavier than the rod, which is the way it should be anyway. Anyway, let me get that out of my way before like I said, got that hook dangling on that. Just wanted to show y'all what we were using. That fish finder rig, which is the one I just showed you, it's what it's called. It allows the fish to run with the bait without feeling the weight. And if I wasn't using a live liner or bait runner style reel, I would simply loosen my main drag till I could pull line off the reel. That way, when a fish hits it, it's not going to take your rod into the water. I've seen that happen to people. It almost happened to my friend. He twice actually had to jump up and catch the rod as it was about to be pulled out of his rod holder, his sand spike, which was getting not pulled down because his drag was a little too tight, which I mentioned to him one time.